another camp for you. But you take a look at the difference from last year to this year, all the young talent this team has acquired. I'm old enough to remember like 83, 84 when the Mets were, getting to that 86 point where they had all this young talent and they were developing that culture. When you see all the young talent in yourself here, what goes through your mind?
It's awesome to see us having a bunch of guys that are young and I believe can impact in the big leagues in the next couple of years for sure. They're all a bunch of good guys, and it's fun to play in the minor leagues and win games too. Like obviously, we all want to be at the big league level, but part of that process is going through the minor leagues. And when you get to play with a bunch of enjoyable guys, it's a good time, and you have a lot of good days, especially over a long season.
And this is not a knock at Buck at all, because I love Buck, but the perception was around the league that Buck was about the veterans. You're here now, building young guys, and the manager really doesn't have preconceived thoughts of what the players are. Is that different for you when you come to a camp like that?
Last year I was brand new to the organization, and this year, like it's my second year. But I mean, new regime, new manager. Like we can't. There's we're all feeling each other out. We're all learning stuff about each other. So I can't make any comments about that. Honestly, it's just it is what it is, and we all try to make the right impressions by doing our job, and wherever that comes of it, it comes of.
What do you think your biggest adjustment was last year that you had to make?
Uh, just I think the biggest thing was like foundation and staying disciplined with like what I'm trying to accomplish day in and day out because it is a long stretch and you're gonna have times where you struggle and times where you're doing great and being able to just hold on to that one, two things that you're trying to do every day, whether you're doing good or bad, is the discipline of holding on to that is not easy, and that's the one thing that I've really worked on this off season.
One of the things that is different now than back in the day is all the analytics and all the data that people have. And, for a catcher, is the added framing. And, that's an actual thing that they measure.
Yeah.
How, as opposed to an eye test, like when they measure that, do you go back and do you look at the numbers and how do you work on trying to improve the numbers?
Yeah, I look at them a little bit, but part of it too is that it's still like very subjective, especially as a framer. Like if it comes down to the umpire calling it a ball or strike. It's not as we're not at a computer zone, so like in the end, my goal is to just present the best ball I can behind the plate and get comfortable enough that if the umpire calls it a ball, I know it's not because something I did framing wise. It's just it was either a ball or it was a strike, and that's my goal is just to continue to get better at doing that and being more comfortable and relaxed behind the plate where it makes it easier to be athletic and do my job. And then as far as the hitting, it's more information. Like, I think the game's changed analytically, absolutely, but in the end, like the game hasn't really changed. You're still trying to get on. You're still trying to hit doubles, hit homers, like just do whatever you can to win the baseball game. It's just now you have an extra layer of data and stats now that you didn't have even 5, 10 years ago. So I think it's important to use because we have it, but it's not something that's like overtaken the game. Like the game is still the game.
So I found it fascinating yesterday after the game, it said that he worked on a pitch a week ago. It's two-seamer, and he started using it in the game, and it was about conviction. Are there things catchers work on during the season that you start applying here, and you work conviction, you work on something? How important is it to be totally bought in on whatever the skill that you're working on is?
It's paramount. I mean, if you don't have conviction or confidence in what you're doing, whether it's the right thing or not, like you're not going to be able to be successful doing it. So it's like whether it's your approach hitting or catching or pitching and Krannick's side, like if he doesn't have the confidence in throwing this two-seamer or trying it out, like it's not going to matter whether it's the right thing to do or not.
And catching some of these pitches, what's something that's just jumped out at you that you were surprised at?
mean, everybody's good. You know, they've been awesome to catch. They're enjoyable players. They're enjoyable human beings. Um, and that's what it's all about. You just building those relationships that could end up being lifelong relationships. I think that's more important than anything. And obviously, they're good enough to help the team win baseball games. So I'm excited for the year.